10 Decimation Street. The term decimation comes from the Latin decimatio, meaning the removal of a tenth. It was a form of Roman military discipline in which every 10th man in a group was executed by members of his cohort, essentially used to punish groups guilty of capital offences, such as cowardice, desertion, and insubordination. If a group or cohort were deemed guilty of a capital offence, the soldiers would be divided into groups of 10. Each one would draw lots, and the soldier who drew the shortest would be beaten or stabbed to death by his fellow comrades. This form of disciplinary punishment continued even into the 20th century. On September 3rd, 1866, during the Battle of Caruzu in the Paraguayan War, the Paraguayan 10th Battalion fled without firing a single shot. Consequently, President Lopez ordered the decimation of the battalion, which was accordingly formed into a line where every 10th man was shot. Decimation can also be used to punish the enemy. In 1918, during the Finnish Civil War, white troops, after conquering the Red City of Varkaus, executed around 80 captured Reds in what became known as the Lottery of Huraslahti. According to some accounts, the whites ordered all the captured Reds to assemble in a single row on the ice of Lake Huraslahti, selected every 10th prisoner, who they executed on the spot. The British Empire has a long history of dividing their enemies and competitors in order to expand their influence and rule. Being at the heart of the globalization octopus, the British government, together with international financiers, many of which are based in London's financial district known as the City, a separate entity and square mile outside the normal administrative influence of Greater London as a whole. This partnership between international finance and the British government created a powerful partnership, propelling the British Empire's influence around the planet. Everywhere the empire went, a new bank would appear, run by the international banking cartel or their agents. Together they decimated their competitors, political, military, and domestic. Decimalization of the British pound took place in 1971, with the end of the imperial system based around units of 12. From a religious perspective, the number 12 relates to divine government, God's authority, perfection, and completeness, whereas the number 10 relates to human government and its laws. Moses received the 10 Commandments from the vengeful God of the Old Testament, some suspect as being the Demiurge. 10 Downing Street is the official residence and office of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. The building was offered as a gift in 1732 by King George II to Robert Walpole, the then First Lord of the Treasury, a position which, since the mid-18th century, has also been held by the British Prime Minister. The letterbox still alludes to this fact. Even more interesting are the digits used to represent the number 10 at the top of this large black door. The 0 is not straight. It leans to the left by 33 degrees. This is no accident. It is a deliberate, overt expression of occult symbolism. A 0 or circle in astrology represents the soul consciousness, our physical as opposed to spiritual awareness. For the soul consciousness to lean to the left suggests a desire to pursue a left-hand path of division and restrictions, as opposed to a righteous one. To lean by 33 degrees suggests some connection to Freemasonry, a fraternity or semi-secret society with hidden objectives and goals. Is it the case that 10 Downing Street is really the headquarters of the British Empire's alliance with international finance, working with secret societies to promote an agenda which still pursues the decimation of its competitors, both foreign and domestic? There is an increase of around 10% excess deaths throughout the world since the rollout of a recent medical experiment. 10% of men in the United Kingdom are infertile, with overall sperm rates across the world declining at a similar rate. The rate of inflation throughout the United Kingdom is on average around 10%. This is essentially a stealth tax on savers, decimating their life's savings. Since 2001, due to policies pursued by the British government, the traditional native white British population has been decimated by 10% to an all-time low of 74% of the country's overall population. Is it the case that those behind 10 Downing Street are promoting policies to decimate all forms of competition and opposition in order to keep themselves in power? Those with a satanic disposition are only satisfied when they control everyone and everything.